My name is Ora Barclay Keller, and I'm the Executive Director of the Girls for Change organization. Currently, we are located in Tinkers Village, Montserrado County, and we are functional in 3 different counties: Montserrado, Lower Margibi, and Bone. We are a strong gender structure of institution. We promote women's rights and we advocate for youth and especially young pregnant teenage mothers and their children. So currently we have programs around education in different schools where we are introducing the health clubs for students. We are also involved in mentoring and counseling young teenage mothers. So we have a program where we try to reintegrate them into the society by counseling them and also providing them with some basic educational incentives like scholarships, trying to send them back to school. While we also have the Early Childhood Development Center at our office here for their kids. So while they are in school, we also have a safe environment where the kids can come and play and learn while their mothers are in school. Our institution started as a community-based institution where we started mentoring and molding young women within the community. So we started basically with just teenage girls. So one of the areas we saw was the issue of health education, especially when it comes to reproductive sexual health education for young women. We believed at that time that there weren't this space that was created for young women to sit and express themselves freely about their bodies and how they are maturing and moving from one stage to another. So we thought it wise to open up our houses for young women to come and sit and express themselves and then find solutions among ourselves on how to solve those common problems that we were facing in the community. But then growing now into an institution, we started having a lot of young women coming with similar problems, and we thought it wise to, integrate from just a community-based organization to a registered institution, a local NGO. So one of the gaps that we saw with the scholarship program, because we knew, yes, there were other institutions around that actually had those similar programs, especially when it came to scholarship, giving out scholarship to young people. But one of the issues we saw was that there was this gap for the young women children. So most of the women that came, they were young girls that were marginalized because some of them got pregnant while they were in school, some of them were raped. So the issue of going back to school was not actually the problem. The issue of retention was the problem. How do they remain in school? And one of the problems we saw was that there was this gap in which they never actually had a place where to keep their children. So we decided to create an early childhood center where if the mother is on our scholarship, it's easier for her to come and leave her child here while we take care of that child and she's in school. It's settle her mind and then she can pay more attention on her studies and with less focus on knowing exactly where her child is, if the place is actually safe for her child, is her child learning something. So that was actually the gap we were trying to fill. And then also there was another gap on the sexual reproductive health. We did it at a community level, but then we saw that within schools, also we started seeing similar problems with our scholarship students. There weren't actually a system or course in schools where women or where young people actually knew about the reproductive system or how their body is changing along, with time, how you mature from one stage to another. So we thought it wise to go back in school and start doing the reproductive health education and life skills trainings with the students. So now we found out that even the students are now championing the cause of telling other people what some of the sexual diseases that you can encounter if you don't prevent yourself, and you can get pregnant, and where does pregnancy lead you after while you are in school and you get pregnant, and things that can actually store the progress of youth, especially when they don't know or they lack those basic knowledge on reproductive and sexual health.
Well, that's
Wow, since we started, our direct beneficiaries are beyond 500. That is for those we directly intervene in terms of counseling, in terms of provision of scholarship, in terms of trainings that we do in the community with just young people. In terms of the schools where we have our health club, currently we have 9 schools in the Pittsburgh belt that we have actually established health clubs within the school, and each of our health clubs have over 20 direct beneficiaries, and then the peers that they reach out to within each school is beyond 100. Okay, in terms of the teenage mothers themselves, we have a scholarship scheme for 35 each year, and we've been doing it for 3 years. For the children, it's actually ages below, so our school take below 40 students per year, and we've been running the Early Childhood Development Center for 2 years now. So the Early Childhood Development Center, normally we take kids that are below 6 years old because we're just trying to build the foundation for the children while we prepare them for our free and fair education that is being provided by the government. So we believe that by the time they reach age 6, they are able to go to first grade. So we take children below the age 6. Some of our programs are donor driven, where they are called for proposal and we apply and we implement programs that are similar to what we actually doing here. And most of our programs are actually our own initiatives that we took on. So we do fundraising every year. We have a vacation program that we offer here also, where we do skills training, where we teach young people within the community on how basic skills training like sewing, baking, tailoring, also mixing it with the academics like math, English, and other subjects. So we do that for 40 students every year when school closes, during the period of July to when school is about to open. So normally it runs for within 2 months time, so it takes 2 months depending on when school actually closes and open. So we run that program every year and then proceed from that particular program, because that program we do not give it all on a pro bono. It's costly. So we give that program all to people from around within the community. That also can also stop kids from going and doing things that are not seen right in our society. Leaving your kids home while you go to work and they're on vacation. There are a lot of things that can happen within that time. So the program is also to be able to engage children during the time of vacation, so you keep their brains and their minds busy while waiting for school to reopen. So whatever proceed we get from that particular vacation school program is what goes towards our scholarship program, and some of it goes towards the upkeep of the Early Childhood Development Center. Now, some of the students within the Early Childhood Development Center also pay fees. So the fees that are being paid is not from the teenage mothers, it's from people within the community who see the standard of our school and want to send their kids there, so they have to pay a fee. So the fee also help as subsidies for salaries for teachers, and sometimes the food that we actually give the children here. We normally do fundraising programs 2 times a year. Now, one is right after the vacation school. So the training, the last day of the vacation school, we normally do a fundraising event. So we normally sell whatever is going to be made during the time. So sometimes we have hairdressing. So sometimes the children make wigs, they make slippers, they make bags. Those things also are on sale at the institution here. That we also sell to get in cash to be able to fund some of our programs.
Okay.
So our skill training during the vacation school, we have hairdressing, we have slippers making. Normally we consider all the slipper making capable as art and craft. We have sewing, we have IT, where we have someone who comes in and help the children to do little graphic design, they design their own ID cards and all those different things. So we have those basic, hands-on experience that will actually give out to the children. Then we also have the academic aspect of it, where we teach them cursive writing, things that we feel that they don't really have in school, that those are some of the subjects we try to teach, and also emphasize on some of the subjects that we think going to a new class, they are going to be, taking those subjects. So sometimes we re-emphasize on whatever, looking at the curriculum, whatever they're going to be teaching them. So with those simple things, like we try to introduce the reading and comprehension. We do civic education, we do cursive writing, we do intensive math, English, we also do French as a subject within our vacation school program. Outside the vacation school program, for our informal education with the teenage mothers themselves, we also go out to other institutions that are actually administering those courses, like the BDOTC under the Ministry of Youth and Sports. We also send the girls there to go and do skills training in terms of interior decoration, sewing, baking, and even driving. So those were some of the things that, those were some of the life skills training that we actually give out to. Items that are all handmade by the kids that come here. So we have copybooks that they cover, we have slippers, we have beads, we have even bags that some of the different classes, they sew their own little bags. So most of these things, you have patrons that will come, like friends, families, relatives of these children will actually come and purchase them, especially when they are made by the kids. It's so exciting to see what they have made. So they'll be like, oh, buy it, I made this, buy it, and I made this. So those are some of the little ways we try to raise funds for our scholarship program. The challenges has been funding. The issue of fundraising has been one of our huge challenges. Even though we do have friends and well-wishers that come in and help us, with some of what we do here, but it's still at a little scale. In order to be able to reach out to more beneficiaries, we have to actually go out there and seek to look for funding opportunity. So call for proposals and all that. We have to write donors and everything. So that has been one of our challenge, but we are being able to overcome it because we're now trying to engage more donors, more local partners, partnering with local institutions who to have a broader outreach. So we reach out to local organizations, also we reach out to international organizations within the country, and also people that are outside in the diaspora to be able to help support some of our programs here. Our long-term plan is actually to be able to create programs that are really sustainable, especially for young women. So we just don't want to be able to administer trainings to these young women or send them to vocational school. We want to be able to see if we can have a center where those young women that have been trained can come back and be able to work at those training centers and be able to showcase what they have learned and actually make some earning from it. Because if we just send them to school and give them small or startup kit, more often you see that the competition is already there. You have people that are already well trained in those areas. So it's better to bring them together and create a stronger force within them, within that gathering, and showcase their talent out there. And when people know where they come from, they understand their stories and see exactly what they're doing. That's a way that people can start to patronize them. But if we just leave them again, they go back in the community and try to seek for jobs and other opportunities on their own. For me, I feel it's another drawback. So Our long-term goal or vision is to be able to have a center where all these young people can come back and work, and make their own money. This vacation again, we starting to hit parents' inboxes of Facebook, even the radio stations on our vacation program. The first year we initially started this whole vacation school, we anticipated 30 students, and we got 40. The second year again, our anticipation was to get 40 students. We got 48 students. Last year again, our anticipation was to get 40, because when you see our structure we have here is not really big, so every year we try to do 40. But again, we got about 50 plus students that were here. So this year we have already partnered with another local institution who have a bigger space. So we by the end of this month, starting next month, we're going to start doing the advertisement again. And this time around, we're trying to seek it for another approach. Those schools that already have started training youth, students on the health clubs, we want to see how we can be able to work with those students at our center this year. So it's not going to be limited to just students from around or youth from around the community. We want to see how we can reach out to our schools that we have worked with, those students that are already being trained in the health club, to bring them to the vacation school and keep them engaged for this vacation time. So our anticipation this year, we're anticipating over 100 students. Wow, it's actually it's a strict process, but at the same time we have a target. Okay, so things that we look for is that you should have been in school. That's one of the criteria. And you drop up, you should have a pass grade sheet that you were given by the time you drop out of school. You should have been a teenage mother. So if you are a teenage mother, then we do a background investigation. We want to know where you live. We want to know if you live with your parents. We want to know if you live with a guardian. And we want to be able to see or record that this particular student, has the willpower to go back to school, and wants to go back and wants to stay in school. So those are some of the things that we actually look at. Because for us, scholarship that we give out, we just don't give it to any girl, We're trying to reach out to those vulnerable girls out there. We're trying to reach out to girls who were abused. So we just don't do a scholarship program. We have a rigorous counseling program that is also associated to the scholarship program. So you have to go through a series of counseling before you can actually be able to go back. Because during the counseling session too, it's also a period of reflecting where the person where they are now, and how can we change their mindset and prepare them to be able to go to school and stay in school. I would like to say thank you. I'd like to say a very big thank you to AM News Africa and Janice Colley for the opportunity given the Girls for Change institution, to be able to showcase what we are doing here with the young people. It's also an opportunity for people to come back and give to their country. Girls for Change is a very, very strong, we rely strongly on volunteers. So you see most of our staff that were in the institution, especially on senior management, we are all volunteers. We volunteer our time towards building the institution and also giving back to our society. So this is an open call for those who feel that it's time for them to give back to their country, give back to the society. Girls for Change is open, and we are accepting people who really want to give back and has that track record, of good moral standing with the community, and are willing actually to come back and give. So we want to say a very big thank you to our board members and our program director, Mrs. Ora Barclay, for all the work that she has done here, and also the team at GFC. Thank you very much.